About 2 weeks ago, I was on a flight to Tokyo and I counted up and realized it was my 25th flight. I started studying Japanese about 24 years ago, and that's a lot of flying back and forth, 25 round-trip flights. And I realized I've acquired a lot of techniques, and I'm going to share those with you today. Hi everyone, this is Allison. My channel is Ariame Talk, and I basically talk in Japanese about American life in English. But I like to throw in some occasional videos in English for people who work with Japanese or are interested in Japan. So, hope you like and subscribe, and let's get started. Obviously, feel free to skip ahead. There's, timestamps. I remember when I got on my first flight to Japan, I was 17. I was with a bunch of other study abroad students. Flight landed, we were all excited, hugging each other, because it was a dream come true for us. And since then, I've flown every airline that goes there from America. I want to start by talking about what to wear. If you are flying a Japanese airline, you will probably be a little bit on the warm side, temperature-wise. It depends, everyone's different, but my experience has been that the US airlines, Delta, United, American, they are freezing. So freaking cold, and they give you this little tiny blanket. I tried bringing a blanket, and I tried bringing like pajamas on the plane before. I wouldn't recommend it. They're bulky, they take up a lot of space. You won't want to reuse them once you get in the country because they're dirty. They've been on a plane with a bunch of other people. They probably fell on the floor at some point. So I don't do that anymore. What I do now is wear layers. I love Uniqlo's heat tech, so I usually have an underlayer of heat tech. I usually have a lighter shirt that I can wear, and then a sweater or something like that, even in the summer. I know that's going to sound crazy, but you'd be surprised how cold it can get in the plane. On the flip side, once you get off the plane, you will be sweltering. Running through the airport, trying to get through customs, carrying your bags. If you have kids, way worse. So make sure you can adjust and be comfortable. The guy behind me on this flight was saying, "Oh man, I wish I hadn't worn jeans. I could have just worn sweatpants." Now, for me, I travel a lot for work, and so it's important for me to look relatively professional because I have made contacts on the plane or in the airport that have led to work. So I usually wear softer, slacks, a sweater, and have a suit jacket with me. You don't have to do that. I like to. I have seen people who get on the plane with full makeup and then take it off and go to sleep. I know a lot of people like to take out their contacts because it is very dry in the plane. So that's definitely a good idea. I'd recommend that. Or get on the plane with glasses, and then if you're worried about how you look when you go through immigration, go ahead and put them back on in the plane before you leave. So, you will stink. I do not know why. There's something about being in the same clothes all day. If you're going to the more remote parts of Japan, you might spend more than 24 hours traveling. And again, I'm coming from the East Coast of the US. West Coast, maybe it's not so bad. Deodorant and something to freshen your breath are the two things that I always travel with, because you just don't know when you're gonna be really gross and just gross yourself out, let alone the people around you. Another trick, okay, if any guys are watching, take a break or skip ahead to the next thing. If you're a girl, I highly recommend starting the flight with a panty liner, because you could start your period in the travel. You don't know. It has happened to me before. And second, there's something really nice about being able to remove it and feel like you're wearing a fresh pair of underwear. Okay, guys, you can come back in. So now I want to talk about shoes. You have limited space. And if you want to wear something that's durable like hiking shoes or something that's fancy like long boots, wear them on the plane. I know it's going to be less comfortable walking through the airport, but they don't take up room in your suitcase or, weight from your suitcase restrictions. Okay, so now you're on the flight. First of all, what are you going to do? It's between 9 and 13 hours. I would highly recommend having a plan, just like you would plan out your own day when you're, trying to do something. You may or may not have Wi-Fi. Don't plan on streaming any videos. Download them before you go. You will have a seat back video monitor and be able to watch stuff, but bring wired headphones because the plane headphones suck. Obviously, if you can leave on your night, then you just go to sleep and you wake up and you're in Japan. It's not that easy. Most of the flights from the US leave in the morning. So you get on, you get adjusted, they serve you a meal. Pretty, an hour, maybe 2 hours into the flight. After that, try and go to sleep. If you are heavily light and sound sensitive, eye mask, earphones. It was so funny during COVID. I had my mask, my eye mask, my headphones, and I just you couldn't see anything here. I was just a little bit of hair on the top. But it's definitely in your best interest to try and sleep because if you can, great. I will tell you, of those 25 flights I was talking about, I've never flown business class. It's always been economy. I've never found an easy way to go to sleep. It's just hard. You might have better luck if you can lean against the wall, so pick a window seat. The best seat is that bulkhead one, right by the door, because you get so much leg room. However, you can't have any of your stuff with you because it can't be blocking the exit row. So you have to put it all up in the bins and then get it down every time you want it. That's a little bit annoying, but if you're the kind of person who knows you're just going to go to sleep, it's the best. Now, it costs extra, so I don't usually get it. I'm cheap. But have a plan of I'm going to try and go to sleep. If that doesn't work, I'm going to watch one movie, have a snack, and then go to sleep. Thing two about the plane. If you have any kind of disability, impairment, if you have anything like that, just tell the flight attendants. They are great at helping you. If it is your first flight, tell the flight attendants. Some people who are going to Japan, it's their first flight ever, not let alone long haul flight. Flight attendants have all the information that you could possibly want on how to do this well. So they will encourage you to get up and walk around in the bulkhead areas. On most airlines, American has not been as friendly as most of the other airlines with me, but they partner with JAL, and JAL is the best. Okay, get up and move around during the flight. Eat, drink. You are not limited to what they provide you. There will be snacks in the back or sometimes in the middle between the two sections of the plane. Go get snacks. You can go ask someone for water. You can go ask them for a Coke or whatever you feel like you want because they know you're in there for more than half a day. They don't expect you to just suck it up. I like to have a project to work on. So if I'm writing a blog or a book or something I can do offline, I focus on that. And then, I set a 2-hour alarm. When it goes off, I get up, walk around, get a snack, sit back down, write some more. That is how you get through the flight. I'm not going to talk about customs and immigration because I feel like there's a lot of resources on that. Everyone pretty much speaks English and your airline tells you what you need to do. But I just recommend, if you are watching this in 2025-ish, 2024, sometime like that, the QR code system is great. Makes it so much easier. Don't have to handwrite things. Just know that when you fill out the QR code, you then have to do another procedure at a kiosk before you get in line to get out of the airport. Now, you've got your suitcases. You're finally in Japan. You're in the airport. It's so exciting. The great thing about Japanese airports is they mark up, but they don't mark up much. So you can go get a drink or a coffee or whatever you need to get you to your destination. One thing I will absolutely recommend is, especially if you've never done this flight, you are going to be exhausted. Don't try and put anything on the first day. Go to a hotel, rest, and start that next day. On my most recent trip, I got there at 2 o'clock and I was like, we could go visit someone, but yeah, no. I was with my 9-year-old son and I didn't know how he would react. So, hang out in the airport a little bit, get to a nearby hotel and crash, because then you'll be much fresher for the next day. Quick note about jet lag. I have tried everything that is out there to avoid jet lag. I have finally come up with a passable solution, and I might do a little video on jet lag separately, but basically, if you can stay up until 7 p.m., 6, but try for 7, on that first day, you will kick jet lag in the butt. The first day, you're gonna feel exhausted. You're gonna wanna go to bed. Try and keep yourself up until 7, go to bed. You're gonna wake up at 2 or 3. Guaranteed. Try to stay in bed. Obviously, this is not gonna work for everyone. When I went with my 7-year-old and 1-year-old, she would wake up and then he would wake up and then we'd all be up. And it was awful because she was upset that she was awake. It was, kids are a whole other video I could do. Anyway, try to go to bed at night, wake up in the morning. If you are up at 2 and you can't sleep, go ahead and read, do something with low light, and try to go back to sleep. I have taken a melatonin before, it helps. I've taken a sleeping pill before, it helps too. But there's really no trick beyond going to bed at night and waking up in the morning. If you are going through the next day and you're super sluggish and it's like 2 o'clock, I would tell you try to schedule a nap in the morning. So if you can get it in before 1 p.m. on that first day, you're gonna do a lot better. If you try and nap after 2, you're gonna sleep until 5 and then you're gonna be up and then you're not gonna want to go to sleep at night. It's a mess. So focus on keeping the night, and if you have to nap in the morning. I know that I was telling a story where you were already in Japan, but let's try and back up and talk about what you should put in your suitcase. For your suitcase, you want whatever you cannot get in the country and whatever you need that first night. If you are skinny with small feet and you want to buy Japanese clothes and shoes, do it. Bring 2 outfits, maybe 3, and then shop. Go for it. If you don't really know what you're going to be able to get in the country, don't worry about it. Bring what you're comfortable with. I have never stayed in a hotel that didn't have coin laundry, so you will be able to wash clothes. No problem. And so I would recommend bringing less stuff and washing, because you will have more space in your suitcase for, stuff you want to take home. Be sure to check about medicine that you're bringing into the country. Some things that are common in the US are restricted in Japan. However, I've never had a problem with it, especially if you're on a 1 week to, 1 month trip. It's not that big a deal as long as you're not bringing, say, opioids or something like that. If you do have to bring something that's restricted, there are procedures for it. You just have to look it up. I'm not going to Google it for you. Next, I would encourage you to have a backup of most things. For example, if you are going to be there 5 days, bring 7 or 10 days of medicine. Most Americans who live in the suburbs, in the country, are used to driving everywhere. And you are going to walk your butt off being a tourist in Japan. So bring comfortable shoes, but attractive shoes. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I usually bring, comfortable ankle boots or something like Onitsuka Tiger kind of tennis shoes that I know I can walk for hours in, stand in line for hours. My last travel tip is this. You're in a country where people learn English by and large, but aren't comfortable speaking it. So just because you're in a major city doesn't mean you're necessarily going to find people who speak English. And so my tip is this. If you are lost or stuck, go into the hotel lobby of a very nice looking hotel, because I guarantee you someone there speaks English and can help you find what you're looking for. It has worked every time, I needed it or my friends needed it, because now I'm an interpreter. I don't have this problem. If you are out in the country, you may have more trouble. You will have a harder time finding people who speak English. I would encourage you to maybe take a tour guide with you or an interpreter. But I know I'm talking to a lot of people who are like, but I have Google Translate, it should work fine, and it might. But if you can't communicate, try writing things down. A lot of people can read English better than they can speak it. And you might, take a map with you. You might have the address written down so you know where you're trying to get to. It definitely helps to plan things out more if you're going away from tourist areas. How am I going to get from point A to point B? What restaurants am I going to go to? Do they have a sign that says no foreigners? That's a thing. Can you go into the restaurant and ask for what I'm trying to eat instead of trying to read a menu? That kind of thing will help you if you plan it out in advance. Okay, that was a long one. If you have questions, if you're getting ready to go to Japan and you want to do something, let me know. I've been a lot of places and done a lot of things, so I'm happy to help. Just get in the comments, and I'll see you next time.